All right, so today we're going to be talking about what's called, your book calls it mathematical modeling, but ultimately it's just regression. So yesterday we did some linear regression. Today we're going to throw in quadratic. Okay, but we're not going to do it by hand. We're going to do it with our calculators. Okay? And maybe you've done this before. I'm pretty sure you've done this before if you've had algebra 2. If not, we'll catch you up. So first of all, let's review how do we determine if a function is linear or quadratic. Okay, so yesterday we were looking at the difference between each step, right? So this would be an increase of 3. This would be an increase of 5, 7, 9, and then 11, right? If it's linear, this would be our slope. But that means it has to be the same all the time, right? Okay, so this one is not linear. But notice the next step down. Those are all consistent, right? So if that constant change happens the first time, it's considered linear. If it happens the second time, it's quadratic. If it takes a third time, it'd be cubic. And then quartic and quintic and continuing on, right? Does that make sense? Have you guys talked about that before? Yes? Okay. Questions on determining whether it's linear or quadratic? If it's linear, we can just do it by hand and it's just faster than typing anything into a calculator, because that's what we did yesterday. So now, what we're going to do is we're going to find the function rule for this set of data. I put all the calculator steps on this slide here. Okay, I'm going to walk you through it anyways, but it's there in case you need it. All right, so the first thing we want to do is we want to clear all lists. So I'm going to pull up my graphing calculator. So I'm going to go second plus number 4. Oh, sorry. It says clear all lists and then enter. So second plus 4 and enter. Is that okay? Everybody have clear all lists or all lists cleared? Do you need the lights on to see your calculator screens? Everyone's okay so far? All right. So now we want to go to stat, which should be in your second row, about third button over. And we want to edit our lists. So hit enter. So make sure before we start, does everybody have L1 and L2? Does anybody not have L1 and L2? Sometimes they get deleted. All right, so in list 1, we're going to put all of our n's, all of our x values. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So 1, enter, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, in list 2, then we're going to put all of our y values, or in our case, f of it. So I have 4, 7, 12, 19. Really great. Pretty cool. Sure. Are you okay? All right, everybody good? So double check that your lists are both the same lengths. If you're good, now we're ready to do our quadratic regression. Okay, so we're going to go to stat. We're going to arrow over to calculate. And it's quadratic regression, which is number 5. You can arrow down or you can just press number 5. And now it tells you I'm pulling list 1 and list 2. Those are my x and y values. So we just need to arrow down to calculate. Or you can hit enter a bunch of y. Oh, I did linear. Sorry. Hit the wrong button. There we go. There we go. That looks better. All right, so this is what I got on my screen once I press the right buttons. Does everybody else look somewhat similar? All right, so it gives us the quadratic form, right? So y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. We know a has to equal 1. B says 2.7 e to the negative 12. What does that mean? What's it trying to be? Think about that. 2.7 times 10 to the negative 12. Oh. 2.7 times 10 to the negative 12. That wants me to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It's referring to this number, right? What's it trying to be? It's just trying to be 0. Okay, so our calculators are only so good, but it's really saying that the b value is 0. Okay, and our c value is 3. Okay, so now we can just plug it in. So we have y equals, or f of n equals. Lost my numbers. Okay, here we go. So f of n is equal to, what was the a value? 1. So you can just do 1 n squared or just do n squared. And then our b value was 0. So we can put 0 in, but we don't have to. And then our c value was, what was it, guys? 3. So it's just going to be n squared plus 3. Are we okay with this? Has anybody ever done this before? Okay. All right. So then, you try this one. Go ahead and find the function rule. What do you think? Well, first of all, do you have enough time? Do I need to wait longer? All right, so if we write an f of n equals, what's our a value? So I had negative 2n squared. What's our b value? Minus 0, right? Okay, and then what's our c value? Negative 2. Is that all right? So straightforward, just quadratic regression. Great, so this is what we're going to do next. So this is typically how you see quadratic regression used in geometry at this point. You try to apply it to something else. We usually do it with figures, but here's an example as well. So each of the 30 people at a party shook hands with everyone else. So how many handshakes were there all together? So prior to COVID, we'd all be shaking hands here, but we're going to pretend this year. All right, so if there's only one person at the party, there's no handshakes happening, right? You don't shake hands with yourself. If there are 2 people at a party, there is 1 handshake, right? If there are 3 people at a party, I would need 1, 2, 3 handshakes. How about if there's 4 people at a party? I would need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 handshakes. All right, so use this data here, write your function rule, and then determine if there were 30 people at the party, how many handshakes would happen. That work?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone like more time? All right, so let's start with our function rule. Let's start with our function rule here.
There we go.
All right, so I don't care, again, I don't care if you use f of x, I don't care if you use y, whatever you want to use. Okay, so what did you get for your a value? I had 0.5 x squared, and then what did you get for your b? I had negative 0.5 x and c. I had 0. Is everybody okay with the function rule? Okay, so really, if I wanted to do f of x here, I really want to find f of 30. So I have 0.5 times 30 squared minus 0.5 times 30. So how many handshakes is that? 435? It's about a gallon of hand sanitizer there, right? Questions on that? So today when you do your homework, you're going to have some regression that's just straightforward. Is it, or just like calculating the equation, or the function rule, sorry, and then a specific number. And you're also going to have some where it's modeling, where you're creating your own table to answer questions like the handshake question. Okay? Cool. Do you need the lights back on? Yes? Okay. Okay, shield your eyes, turn up the lights.